But you know that you're a woman.
Yes.
What is that?
Let's go.
So gender is a social thing. It only
I don't want
makes
to hear
sense
that. What is a woman?
We live in a culture of confused people. Some would even say very confused people. I know. This is a very tired and drawn out theme, but it remains to be the truth, and it still dominates our culture in many ways that it shouldn't, so we have to address it. What kind of confused people are there? Well, one example is being confused about their very own sex, as many of you probably know. Thankfully, we've got some cultural warriors like Matt Walsh to come set the record straight, guys, and we're gonna see this video right now with him doing just that. But first, everybody, please make sure you like our video, comment, share it, and subscribe to the Resist the Mainstream YouTube channel. I'm your host, Darian. Let's get into the video.
Hi, Matt. I'm transgender. I'm born and raised here in New Mexico. I have a graduate degree in information technology, marketing, business, and finance. I own my own home. I pay taxes. I have a six-figure job. I'm a respected professional in Albuquerque. I'm a mother. My life experience is that I'm an awesome person. I am well-liked. I'm responsible, and...
Is he a mother or is he a narcissist? You tell me, because I don't know. I'm an awesome person. That's not something that a person with humility usually says. I'm just saying.
I think I'm pretty cool. You touched on something. You said something earlier that for you, when somebody calls you a man, it doesn't faze you because, like, you just know that you're a man. That was interesting to me because I feel the same way about my identity as a woman. My question leading up to this, you've asserted that no one would ever see me as a woman, that nobody would ever see or could see a transgender person as a woman, and yet I have dozens of friends from diverse backgrounds. Women from the reservation, a woman from Japan, several immigrant women. I have my coworkers, I have my boss, my VP, my CEO, all respecting me as a woman. My family, my long-term friends who are actually here with me. All of these people assure me, like, I'm a woman. They'll tell me, girl, like, there is no way you are a man. They see me as a woman. So the question, how can you assert that nobody would ever see me as a woman when my material experience tells me you're wrong?
Okay, it's interesting that that's the part of my talk you chose to ask a question about, because that's not in my talk at all. I don't believe I said that no one would ever see you as a woman. I mean, it's possible, I suppose, that you could fool someone. Now, you brought this up, so I have to tell you that you brought this up. You've put your identity on the table for conversation. And so I'm going to say you wouldn't fool me at all. I mean, I see a man 100%. And I think that most people would. Now, the fact that you have people in your life who are saying to you, oh, you're totally a woman, it's exactly what I'm talking about. No one in my life has ever once said to me, you're totally a man, Matt. You know, if a friend of mine called me on the phone and said, listen, Matt, I want you to know you're really a man, I would think that there was something wrong with him. I would say, why are you saying that at all? It doesn't make any sense. So the fact that this is a conversation to begin with tells me, it only proves the point that I'm trying to make, that your identity, even in your own mind, is something that you need to be assured of. Now, what I would like to ask you, again, because you're standing here, and so you've brought your identity on the table for discussion. So how do you know that you're a woman?
It was first when I heard transgender persons describe their experience.
All right, so he's gonna go on a whole little tirade. We'll get to watch that in a second. Real quick, this guy over here starts saying, well, you know, my coworkers and my boss, they all affirm that I'm a woman. Yeah, that's probably because they're trying to not get fired. I think it's no secret that if you don't openly embrace this LGBTQ plus QIA, whatever, pride agenda, you're gonna get blasted in the workplace. People know that and they're aware of it. So whether they believe it or not, they're gonna go along and play pretend. That much is obvious. Let's keep going.
In their own words, and this was only about 2 years ago, hearing somebody describe things, it was a woman from like England, describing her experience, her childhood, her teenage years. And it blew my mind to be listening to her, because it was just some podcast that I was listening to while I was like doing laundry.
That's the point, man.
But it blew my mind to hear somebody so eloquently and precisely describe things that I had experiences
What
that
was
I
the
had
description?
experienced.
What did they say?
Yeah, for real. Get to the point.
Okay, so I am honestly hesitant. I know that you touched earlier about the difficulty that transgender women might have in describing their identity, but I want to state, I honestly don't feel that you would engage in this conversation in good faith.
Then why are
And
you here?
so-
Why did you stand up to talk to me if you don't want to have a conversation? You're saying that you discovered that you're a woman. I'm asking you how you did. That's a very fair question.
Okay.
How do you know that you're a woman?
It is a very fair question, and something I can't help but notice is, you ever notice whenever you make a good point or ask a very obvious and fair question, a lot of left-wingers will, I mean, if they're not already calling you a racist and a horrible bigot and storming off, they'll say, you're not approaching the conversation in good faith. Yeah, it's always not in good faith when your point gets disproven, isn't it? Whatever.
All right. So first of all, listening to transgender people, and it was like, okay, this is a one-off, one person describing these things. Things like looking at yourself in the mirror and not recognizing yourself. Hearing compliments like, you are such an example, like a positive masculine role model. And just hearing that and being like, it feels like they're talking about somebody else. It means feeling alone, even when you're surrounded by guys, even when you have a lot of friends. And I was active in like Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout. I had great masculine role models my whole life, and yet I never felt like I belonged. I felt welcome and included.
Why does that make you a woman?
Because
As opposed to just a man who doesn't get along with some other men, or a man who's depressed, or a man who doesn't feel at home totally in his body, which, by the way, is a pretty universal human experience. Everybody goes through it at one time or another. So in what way does that make you a woman, though? And it's interesting. You're telling me that you listen to the experiences of other transgender people.
Well, yeah.
But what about women?
So
Because trans women are women, you would say, right?
I would say that. Yeah.
Exactly the same?
Yes.
Okay, well then why do you need to hear the testimony of quote unquote trans women? Like how you pick any actual woman in this room? In what way do you know that you belong in the same category as them?
I know because they tell me. So here was
You need them to tell you what you are?
women. Yes. I trust the opinions of the women around me.
And if most women-
It's incredible. You might try it sometime.
If most women voted and said they don't see you as a woman, would you say I'm not a woman anymore?
If who?
If most women voted and said they don't see you as a woman anymore, would you then relent and say I'm not a woman?
I would say most people on the planet have no idea who I am. I'm going to trust the opinions of the people who've spent their lives with me.
But you are relying on other people to tell you who you are, is what we're establishing.
For context.
All right, he's going to go into another one of these weird, just not answering the question tirades again. Something I want to point out when this guy says that people around him and in his own life affirm that he's a woman, and that's enough, and that's what matters for him. Those people think they're being compassionate. I just want to state for the record, they're not at all compassionate. In fact, they're evil, or at the very minimum, they're practicing evil. Because affirming someone's delusions doesn't make you a good person. It makes you a liar. And I think that point is very important to state because so many people in our lives will probably say to us, oh, well, just call that man a she and that she a man and all this stuff. After all, it's their feelings. Let them do what they want. The real evil that I think is at play here is telling somebody something they're not. If a 5-year-old kid came up to you and said, hey, I'm Spider-Man, I'm gonna go jump off a building and sing a web, would you say, yeah, you go, kid, do whatever you want? No, of course you wouldn't. You say, kid, that's nonsense. You're not Spider-Man. You do that, you're gonna get hurt badly. And in fact, I'm not gonna let you do it. That's what you do if you're a moral and just person. Why is it any different when you see somebody who wants to irreparably damage their body, their psyche? Why is it any different? It shouldn't be. Let's keep going.
You like to think, I know you like to say, everybody's rah-rahing and supporting transgender people, and yet they're still killing themselves, etc. But I'm standing here in a room full of people applauding you and asking questions like, how can I put out legislation here in New Mexico, my home state I grew up in, to try to reverse transgenderism? I'm not safe. And it
How are you not
wasn't-
safe? You just said you're standing in a room with people who disagree with you and you're perfectly fine. So how are you not safe? Okay, look, we're going round and round. You don't want to answer any of the questions. Maybe we'll end with this because we're talking about womanhood. So people can probably shout out the
Here it
question I'm
comes.
going to ask you right now.
Here it comes.
Okay.
But you know that you're a woman.
Yes.
What is that?
Let's go.
So gender is a social thing. It only
I don't want
makes
to hear
sense
that. What
in
is a
social-
woman? What is a woman?
What is a woman?
The word woman, define in the dictionary. Go.
A woman is somebody who is included and respected and seen and participates in society, recognized by other women. If you speak with women,
There it is.
Circular definition.
that's mine. Whatever.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Ever.
Thank you. Good.
You know, it's funny, that guy was saying Matt Walsh is not engaging in good faith, yet he refuses to define woman. You'd think that, I don't know, maybe if he was trying to approach the conversation in good faith, he would actually try to give a real definition of woman without using the word in the definition. Oh well, can't have it all, I guess. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the video. As always, comment below, let us know what you like, what you want to see in the future, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, and God bless.